Now, what was it about Scarface that stood out to you? You know, over everything.
Being that he was Southern, for one thing, and then it was that I started small time dope game cocaine.
Yeah.
Hey man, who didn't? So I'm like, boy, we out there like this. Hey, boy, let's go get over and buy it. Hey, so yeah, man. Now NWA, I can say that they did. Man, I can't even take nothing from nobody though, Wick.
Right.
I can't because they was the first. And
right.
you know, we came behind them. We had that, man, we had to have that balance in Atlanta, and we had to have that side of Atlanta being shown to the public because everything wasn't about booty clubs.
Right. Yeah.
You had guys out here losing their lives every day, getting robbed for starter jackets and tennis shoes, and we was just so happened out there with it.
Now, people, there's a misconception of where y'all are from. I mean, when I have seen when people post y'all, some people say y'all West Side, some people say y'all Decatur, some people say y'all South Side. Where the Hard Boys from? Each member of the group.
So, me personally, I was born in Pool Creek, in the Rabbit Box, and I think I was 4 or 5 years old, and my family moved to East Atlanta.
Gotcha.
KT, he is from the Cascade West Side area.
Okay.
And D is from the Swats, from the Greenbrier area.
Gotcha. Okay.
But KT,
your people.
No, that's my hood. I'm with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
that kind of hurt my heart a little bit. I thought
you would only know that the hardest niggas come out of the Swats.
I've been telling everybody Decatur. I guess this whole time.
Well, see, give you some Zone 6 though.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
you were partially right though, Wick, because KT actually, how should I say, he migrated from the West Side and came to my high school.
Okay.
And back then when I met him, man, he was so, bro, when I tell you he was so sharp with his pen like Rakim, cause all he did is stayed in the house and write, man. And I hope he don't get mad about me saying this, but he used to babysit his little brothers. And man, he would draw and write all day. And so I was one of them cats. I wanted to be a part of the rap scene, so I was beatboxing for him.
Yeah.
And that cat was smoking cats, man. I'm talking about East Atlanta High School. I'm talking about he was in the 8th grade. He was younger than me.
Right.
And so I started paying attention to him. I was like, man, this guy is sharp with his pen, right?
Yeah.
And so I started writing with him. And he'll tell me, nah, boy, that ain't it. Yeah, I mean, nah, boy, that ain't it. And when I got right, he was like, boy, me and your voice together. He said it, me and your voice together, boy. Me, you, and D.
Yeah.
We can do something. Cause he got that light voice.
Yeah.
Then D kind of sound a little real
West
aggressive.
Side.
Yeah.
West Side.
Yeah.
Hey,
So, West Side, they can't talk. They can't talk on the West Side.
They
can't talk. They just I was Jimmy Johnson. Yeah, ain't talk. You know what I'm saying? They can't talk over that, man.
Hey, man, you got to love the West Side. You got to love them.
Yes, man.
But answer me this, though, see, being in the streets and doing the music at the same time, how did you manage to stay alive throughout it all, too, with it being so crazy in the A at that time?
Prison saved me.
Okay.
I didn't want to I didn't realize what I was doing could have got me a life sentence and stuff like that. And I ain't gonna say just prison. It was prayers too. Grandmama, my mama.
That's right.
Rest in peace. But then my kids too.
Yeah.
Was coming up, and they caught the hellish end of it. Because I was still in prison and I was still going back and forth, but I was grooming myself to not want to be in them. Cause guys used to ask me all the time, man, why you wake up mad all the time? I said, nigga, who wanna be waking up around niggas all the time?
Right.
So, and I carried that attitude with me throughout prison, but during my stint, I would read, right? You know, I would write songs and putting out songs and stuff like that, man. And I'm gonna take y'all back to my longest stint I did was for an escape charge, cause I had just signed my deal with Sony, right?
Right.
And as soon as I signed my deal, I would say less than a month later, Colin Wolf came to my house, right?
Right.
He came to my house, and I stayed downstairs from this police officer, and the police officer hated me, bro.
Right.
Because he knew I was out hustling, but he couldn't never catch me doing that.
Right.
So one day, Colin pull up. We finna go record. Colin pull up. Hey, you got a cigar? I said, yeah. I go in the house and get a cigar, come back out. He rolls it up. I said, no, man, you don't want to roll it right here, bro. Let's pull off.
Right.
You know what I mean? Cause I'm feeling that negative energy
right.
already. I'm like, man, home must stay. I don't like, nah, I'm gonna do it, then we gonna pull off. Soon as he said that, the cop pull up that still stare from me. I see him, he gonna act like he gonna walk up the breezeway,
right,
and then turn back around and pull the little badge out of his shirt. Hey, but y'all, you know, what's up?
Right.
I said, man, don't roll down that window. He got a lap full of weed. Hey, so the way they roasted me though, what they did was, Colin told him, this is my weed. I got a Desert Eagle in the trunk. Mm-hmm. So the man said, well, who are you? Are you related to him? Cause the officer.
Yeah.
Colin said, nah, man, I'm his producer. He said, his producer? You know, like, what you mean? He said, I'm his producers. He said, well, who are some of the people you produce? And Colin Wolf ran it down, Madonna, Michael Jackson, NWA, you know what I mean?
Right.
And he was like, well, what you doing with him? That's my artist.
Yeah.
And so, to make a long story short, man, they jammed us up with the weed.
So he still jammed me after you threw Michael Jackson name out there.
Hey, man, I knew they were going to make an example out of him. I told Colin, I said, man, boy, you finna owe me for this one. Anyway, they charged both of us with the weed that he had.
Damn.
Gave him probation and tried to sentence me to 6 months. Well, I wasn't going for it, man. I came up out of there. You know, my hair was long as shit.
You're right.
I had my hair in a ponytail. Man, I took my little braid out, shook my hair out, took my leather jacket out, gave it to the guy next to me. He would get ready to go to jail. I stood up. The judge say, Mr. Hood, you must got some chopping beans. Hey, I told you going to jail. You need to sit down.
Right.
I sat back down. They started passing out waiver forms.
Right.
All them people stood up, raising their hand and all that. Boy, I shot up out that guy. I got up out of there. Anyway, man, they caught me.
They caught you that day?
They caught me that day. Let me tell you why
How they caught you?
My manager and them sitting in the back of the courtroom like this. Don't do it. We gonna take care of your deal. I'm like, boy, I can't go no prison, boy. I just got a deal with Sony.
Yeah.
Man, so I end up running. I'm telling them to keep my cell phone. I'm gonna call them somehow. I don't know how the hell I thought I was gonna call them.
Right.
So I said, okay, I'm finna run. You know, in Riverdale, like they got them. They had all the payphones back then.
Right.
Was on Front Street.
Right. Right.
I didn't pay no attention to that.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So I ran and shit, and I hid behind some buildings, and I found me a payphone. I called them, hey, y'all pick me up over here, blah, 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 blah. And just so happened, and not knowing, I ended up running through some buildings and ended up running into my probation officer. I ran into probation officer. How coincidental? Behind. I'm running up. I'm looking in the building with. I'm looking around. I'm like, damn, I don't know. Go up the stairs or down the stairs.
Yeah, you trying to get away.
Yeah, I go up.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy, here she come. I said, ooh. I backed up. She said, Mr. Hood, I thought you probably been in court. I said, I am. She said, what happened? I said, they gave me probation.
Yeah.
Hey, she said, wait a minute, let me call over there. I said, okay. Hey, in my head, I said, you go ahead and do that. I'm going this way.